Alright, today I came over to check your car's spark plugs using a multimeter. I'm gonna start by testing the spark plugs with the multimeter, and I'll explain how this test works. Basically, a healthy spark plug should read somewhere between 4 and 8 kiloohms. The multimeter just tells us if the spark plug is good or not. I brought 12 used spark plugs with me, and I want to test them one by one to see what numbers they give. First, I turn the multimeter on and set it to 20 kiloohms. You should do the same. Then I put one probe on the terminal and the other one on the center electrode. The first reading I get is 5.73. So I write that down. Then I move on to the next spark plug. The next one reads 5.27. I write that down too. The third spark plug shows 5.11. The fourth one is 4.59. The fifth one comes out at 6.16. This next one reads 3.73. So those were the first 6 spark plugs. Now let's check the rest. This spark plug is a double platinum type, and the multimeter shows 4.28. The next one reads 4.64. For this spark plug, we have to wait a bit until the number settles down. Once it's stable, it's about 9.83. This spark plug has a broken ceramic part, but that doesn't really affect the test. The reading here is 4.42. And the last spark plug reads 3.90. So that's the spark plug testing part. I'll turn the multimeter off now and let's look at the results. Like I said earlier, the normal range should be between 4 and 8 kiloohms. Anything in that range means the spark plug is in good condition. This one is fine. This one is also fine. 5.27 is good. 4.59 is good. 6.16 is also good since it's still between 4 and 8. But this 3.731 is out of range, so this spark plug has a problem. 4.28 is okay. 4.64 is okay. 5.43 is okay. Now this 9.831 is out of range too, so that one is bad. 4.42 is fine. And the last one, 3.90, is also out of the normal range. So overall, we've got 3 spark plugs that are not within the normal range. Now I want to take a look at the spark plugs from the outside and see what condition they're in. The first thing we do when we remove a spark plug is check all its different parts. One of the most important parts is the ceramic insulator. You want to make sure it looks healthy from the outside, with no cracks or scratches on it. Another thing you might notice is that some of these ceramic parts have turned yellow. These 3, for example, are yellow. That usually means the spark plug isn't sealing properly, so the cylinder compression is leaking. This can happen if the spark plug is low quality and can't seal well, or if it's been damaged somehow. This spark plug here has the same issue, but it's more noticeable on these 3. Next, let's talk about the electrodes. On this spark plug, the ground electrode is single platinum. We also have spark plugs with double platinum, and on some spark plugs you might even see 3 or 4 ground electrodes. There are different types of electrodes. All the spark plugs I brought here have flat electrodes, but some spark plugs also come with needle-style electrodes, where the center electrode is shaped like a needle. These types are usually used in newer cars. As for lifespan, the spark plugs I brought today are mostly nickel and copper types. These usually last anywhere from about 15,000 to 50,000 kilometers. Some spark plugs have platinum or iridium electrodes, and those can last several times longer. So how do we know exactly what type of electrode a spark plug has? If you look closely, you'll see a series of letters and numbers written on it, like FR7D. This tells you the brand and model. In this case, it's from Bosch. To fully understand what these codes mean, you need the Bosch catalog, which you can also find online. For example, in the catalog, the letter E means the electrode is made from a nickel and yttrium alloy. On another spark plug, you might see FR7DC instead of FR7D. That C stands for copper, meaning the center electrode is made of copper. Now, if you notice black soot on the center electrode and around it, that usually means the fuel-air mixture is too rich. This can happen if the air filter is clogged, if the injectors are spraying too much fuel, or if you're using the wrong type of spark plug. That's why it's always recommended to use the spark plug that the engine manufacturer suggests, and not just swap it out for something that doesn't really match your engine. Here's another example. These spark plugs look similar, but if you check the center electrode, you can see signs of burned oil. That means the engine is burning oil. In this situation, engine oil is getting into the combustion chamber, and there can be several reasons for that. There are also cases where a spark plug looks like this one, where the porcelain part is slightly damaged. This usually happens because the injector nozzles are clogged. In this case, there's usually too much air compared to fuel, which causes the engine to overheat. Sometimes this kind of damage can also be caused by problems in the car's cooling system. When a spark plug has problems, your car will usually show some clear signs. One of the first signs is trouble starting the car, where it takes longer than usual to start. Another sign is reduced acceleration. Sometimes you'll also notice higher fuel consumption. Another common issue is engine vibration when the car is idling. The engine might shake or jerk because the combustion isn't happening properly, since the spark plug isn't creating a strong enough spark. You might also notice increased pollution from the engine. In this case, you'll often smell something like raw or unburned fuel coming from the exhaust. Another sign is the check engine light turning on. You might also notice that the engine doesn't run smoothly, and the RPMs go up and down. One very important thing to do before installing a spark plug is to check the gap between the center and ground electrodes. You use a feeler gauge for this. The gap has to be adjusted correctly. The correct gap size is usually listed in the car's manual. You need to set the gap based on the car's make and model before installing the spark plug. Another important point is using a torque wrench when tightening the spark plug. A lot of mechanics and people don't pay attention to this, but all spark plugs should be tightened to the correct torque. Tightening them too much or too little can cause problems. If you have any thoughts or questions about spark plugs, you can leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching and thanks for your time.